Hello, everybody. It is great to be here one more time today. And my name is Gary Fowler, and I am the host of GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. I'm a serial entrepreneur with 17 startups under my belt, been involved in several unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also the co-founder of Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company. We believe that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. I'm the president, CEO, and founder of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in Palo Alto, California. And with that, I have the great pleasure of introducing an incredible startup today. Pekka Harju-Autti is a ministerial advisor, founder and CEO of TreeBuddy Earth, Inverate, and a number of other companies. He's located in Helsinki, Finland. He's got an incredibly rich background from everything from Mumbai to getting a PhD and Finland. So with that, I'd like to bring him on board. So Pekka, how you doing, Pekka?
Hi, Gary. Everything
Hey, I got
all
a question for you.
good indeed.
You went to Mumbai. What the heck did you go to Mumbai for?
Well, it was kind of crazy. I was doing my PhD, which was dealing with environmental awareness in 57 countries in the world. And, you have to test first your assumptions. And that's why I thought that India is kind of mini world. It has, 20 plus states that are incredibly different from each other, and also in terms of environmental awareness. So I just chose to go there and make the country or state comparison of uh, environmental awareness of all the states there. If it works there, then it works everywhere. And it worked really nice. So I was really happy.
Well, that's great. And now a question for you. Did you get any really spicy food while you were there?
You know what? I really love the proper Indian street food stuff. My whole metabolism has never been so well in order that it was during these 3 months. And during all
Really?
these 3 months, there was only one occasion that something happened. It was when one Finnish guy asked to come to join him in a five-star luxury restaurant. And I thought, well, I've been eating just street food. I wonder what is going to happen. So when I went there to eat the proper food, then something happened. No details about that. But otherwise, I just loved staying there.
Wow, that's amazing because you hear, be careful with the street food. Now, was it that spicy, Pekka, or not?
Sure, it was.
Yeah. Now, did you ever have anything so spicy you couldn't swallow? Like the taste went out of your mouth that was so spicy?
Spiciness was not a problem, but I can tell that there was some Tibetan yak cheese. That it's kind of chunk of cheese like that. If you eat that, and if you can make it as a Westerner, you're a good fella.
I see you're getting a little red in the face thinking about it. Must have been pretty hot, huh?
Indeed.
Well, that's great. And so, you wait till you went to Lakehead University. Where's that, by the way? Where's Lakehead located?
Oh, that's in the middle of nowhere. It's in the lake. Thunder Bay is the city in the middle of Canada, and there Lake Superior. I mean, there is really not that much anything else but just forests around. But well, for a Finn, it works very nicely to be like
Probably
that.
felt like you were home, right?
Yep, kind of.
And how was it different than Finland and when you were in Canada? How was it? How did it feel up there?
A great time. But one funny thing was that because it has the second largest expat community of Finns in all the world. Okay, funnily, because almost 100 years ago back, they went there. So many lumberjacks, etc., to be working in the forest. And that's why it happened that they had a lot of earlier Finns, but they had this kind of rosy idea of that Finn what was there in 1940s or so. Okay, so or 1950s, and when I was talking with these elderly fellas, they were craving for getting some information about their Finland if it is exactly like this, like it was in their memories. And you don't want to break people's
You
memories.
know, people always remember the good things, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about now. I think about where I grew up as a kid, and we talk about the good things, but listen, it wasn't all good. There was some wacky stuff then, but that's the good thing about your life. You think about. Many people think about the good things, right? So, what did
yeah,
they think of
sure.
Finland? So, what did they say to you? Like, what was their impression that wasn't right?
Well, definitely about the natural beauty and everything is partially still there for sure, but still, I mean, it's not always so that you can enter any lake and drink up water, um, and there also the people have been becoming more and more hectic because of modern lifestyle, etc. um, these kind of things, the natural connection of people, which is still stronger for sure than in many other countries, but still uh, it's not exactly the same as some decades ago.
That's interesting. No, I know that. And yeah, it's interesting. You remember those, you paint the past with rosy pictures sometimes, a lot of people paint it. And that's a good thing. And you're right, you don't want to break their memories. But so when you went to University of Oulu, so you got your PhD in technology. So you were over in Canada, you went back to Finland. I assume Oulu's in Finland, correct?
Sure, in the middle.
What made you decide to go back?
Well, Finland is a very nice place overall. Um, according to the United Nations, Finland has been now 5 times in a row the world's happiest country, which
No,
is
wait a
okay.
second. So I thought Bhutan was the happiest place in the world.
Aha, it was one earlier, and there are many ways maybe how you measure, but UN has made this kind of highly scientific, with great big expert panels evaluating all the things and agreeing on what is happiness, where it constitutes of, and there's a huge amount of data in it from different countries. And now, actually, 5 years in a row from that metrics, it has become so, which is very surprising for Finns, because we Finns are traditionally, we have been always so modest. That's a tough piece for us. Okay, so are we really supposed to be the happiest people?
Why are people happy in Finland? Like, seriously, what makes them happy? Does it because they're jumping in the icy water? Is it because what is it? What is it? The secret sauce of happy is it because they have good parties, or is it all of the above?
Oh yeah, you've been hearing the stories of our newest or current prime minister.
Well,
She's
I tell
the
you what,
youngest one.
something. She honestly, she just for me that made her seem really human. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She seemed
yeah,
like
yeah.
a normal person, and that's what
Hmm.
life's all about, right? Is being normal.
Exactly. Fully agree with you. And some people here in Finland criticize her. I mean, just because prime minister should be respecting some values of what we have politically. And however, I think it's just good point that you do things as humanely as possible and showing that, hey, there's nothing to be respected regarding clothes or whatever. I mean, it's the main point is what you do.
Right, exactly. The name, it's about what you do, and you have your friends around, you have some fun. Guess what? That's life, and normal people have a life, right? So, yeah, it's amazing. But what is the secret sauce? Why? It's not just about her. I'm just trying to figure it out because I've been in Finland a number of times myself, and I'm just trying to figure out what do they do? What makes people so happy?
Well, this is of course not easy question to say. Let's say there is no paradise in the earth, but in Finland there are some elements that are well done. One thing is that there is probably the lowest difference between the rich and poor, which I'm not. I hope it doesn't
Really
sound
interesting.
socialistic, but something happens when the difference is not that big, and also we have the lowest ratio or amount of corruption in country. So I mean this kind of let's say overall honesty
Yeah.
which is kind of assumed in human relations, which is very, very important in whatever you do. It also has to do with the startups. When you start from this, let's say, overall honesty principle, and you also, if you think about that, there is not that big difference between the rich and poor, it kind of creates this kind of atmosphere where you don't have to have as your first thoughts when you're having some innovative, creative new ideas, a thought that, okay, how can I get rich out of this? You
Yeah.
can you can play with that your idea with many similar-minded guys, and you can find really some great things, and also, for example, bootstrap quite easily your whole creation. Like in our case, in Three Body Earth, we bootstrapped for 3.5 years, which is not happening always in every um, company. So I mean, we had this great belief we wanted to do this thing, and we have found really great team we wanted to have with this shared vision to make it reality, and nothing beats that feeling, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And so it's interesting. So let's talk about, you've been through a lot of different things, going down through your background, Inverate, that's another one of your companies, right? There's a smartphone solution for assessing the state of the environment. How did you come up with that?
Well, it was simply so that after the PhD, I had a fortune to go to the European Parliament to talk about the results. And in the end of that, I just openly gave up, gave gave the idea to everyone that, hey,
Hmm.
since it worked everywhere in the world so nicely, and we have, on the other hand, great smartphone penetration in all over the world. So this is something that has to be done. Someone has just to make it. And some good applauses, but there was not real doers. And so it took some two months after that to realize that, hey, it seems like even though I did not feel very sure about it of my skills, I decided anyhow that, hey, let's start this startup and let's see. At least I know some people from the Ministry of Environment background, and then I met some guys who all were saying and sharing the same vision that, hey, let's do it. But unfortunately, after doing it, we did not find a business case of it. It did not pass the product market fire test. So then it's always a great uh, point in your startup journey to think, what do you do? Do you morph or do you die, kind of? So we
Yeah,
morphed.
well,
To the,
sometimes you have to pivot, right?
yeah. And
So you,
fortunately, there in our team, we had Mika Vanhanen, our tree master, who has incredible background of uh, starting a global environmental online community, which has 10,000 schools and communities in 157 countries. They've been planting 30 million trees, so they know exactly well how to do things. So it was quite natural to think that, okay, and since Mika understood that, hey, tree planting is not enough, there must be something done for making trees to stay there, to give locals fair and share a fair incentive on doing that. And then, a little bit thinking, then we figured out that, yeah, let's make this kind of digital platform where we will be putting every single tree to a map. And while you're doing that, they always get €1 out of every picture that they take of the
oh, that's
trees.
great.
Then you got a nice, digital map of all trees, and you get the locals really highly motivatedly, with high motivation on board. And that has been really tremendous feeling with the locals, because they all are excited on embarking. So we have this kind of, big amount of different communities, and we can choose from there which are the ones that can be really taking this next step of tree planting, how we think about it, that we will put everything in the digital world map, and then we will be able to sell these trees to companies, and to
Oh,
make it
that's great.
as.
What about what's going on in the rainforest and the Amazon and places like that? How do you impact that, Pekka? I mean, because it's you talk about all this devastation. I just had the guy who was the lead author of the Nobel Prize on my show for 2007, environmental, Sebastian. So how do we impact? I mean, because people don't understand what's going to happen, right? What happens if we don't have enough trees, Pekka? Can you tell us a little bit? You're an environmentalist, right? Tell us a little bit about we don't have enough trees. What's going to happen to the planet?
Yeah, at the moment we have 3 trillion trees in whole world. Okay, which is quite a bit, but not enough. According to the United Nations, we need 1 trillion trees more, which is a lot within 1 decade. And otherwise, we have the challenges of climate change and biodiversity. At the moment, everybody is talking about climate change, and rightly so. If we don't have trees in the equation, it will be unfortunately going. Well, you all read about what can happen then after. However, I would emphasize more this biodiversity part, which is maybe the next big thing that will be more and more becoming to global consciousness. But it's even more tricky one, because there you don't have easily measurable things like CO2 levels in atmosphere, but it's always having something that you have to have the local solutions there, because and then to think about the local biodiversity situations, etc. So it's having some unanswered tricky parts where we still don't know how to as a humanity to more and more find ways that we can kind of from companies' perspective, for example, to somehow to start helping the situation. Biodiversity part is really a tricky one, but I'm sure that there will be more and more solutions and some kind of measuring
There have to be,
methods.
right? Where the population of the planet go from 8.1 billion. I mean, we're going to have
like
to.
yourself.
Right, we gotta make changes. But here's the thing, I know that you're looking that investment opportunities are out there, but do you find it easy or difficult to find investments for a deeply purpose-driven startup?
I would say it's just a little bit different from normal ways of raising capital, because the basic same rules apply, that you have to have a great team, you must have proven your product market fit well, etc., etc. But then on the other hand, there's also something extra. So I believe that always, after having all the rational things explained with your potential investor, there always comes a moment when you ask yourself, look into your the eyes, like, okay, so what is there more? Is there kind of enough authenticity, enough, if you're having a purpose-driven thing, then I believe that also you yourself as a founder must have been a little bit, asking some questions, because after all, we're doing things which are by nature done for the benefit of all sentient beings. It's a little bit different thing if you compare about I'm just having a startup which is made for making us rich. So there's very big difference in some sense. However, it's funny thing because you also I believe that we are facing now a situation that we need a lot of startups which are having high or deep impact or deep purpose-driven approach, and they necessarily will become quite successful economically also, because the planetary need is quite huge. So coming back to the question, I believe that it's so much greater and better and more pleasant to work with impact startups, also raise money with it, because it's much more pleasant that you with your potential investor have to share the same vision, to have in the same boat. And then when it has been clicking, then you know that, okay, we do our best and I mean then it becomes that it's more a friendship.
Got it. And so, you've been working in the Finnish Ministry of the Environment. So obviously that's had a big uh, um, uh, opinion on you and helped you. But, you've seen things working for the Finnish ministry. So how does that really impact you? And how did it really impact you in terms of your embarking on your startup journey?
Yeah, it has been helping a lot, and I'm sure. I believe we all have to find our deepest calling in our lives. Okay,
Right.
so that it varies from if it is big or small. It doesn't matter, but you just have to kind of find it, and then you know how it feels when you're working from that basis. Um,
Pekka,
so,
did it find you or did you find it?
which
The
so,
this environment in terms of the desire. Did you always have the desire, or did it come
yeah,
through working at the Finnish Ministry of Environment? Did it help really nurture that desire? What was it? How
yeah.
did
It was for earlier. I mean, all I said that Finns typically have quite good nature connection, so that's one thing. But I think one great point was when I read the book by Al Gore, Earth in the Balance. There was something that was really like, okay, that's gonna be my
Mhm.
path. I'm gonna do something about it
Wow,
if I
that's
can.
great. By the way, the guy that was a lead author of the Nobel, Sebastian, was the Nobel for 2007 with Al Gore won. So it was that Nobel
Oh,
Prize. I had that environmental person on. So I hear you. And
amazing.
people, it's really interesting, Pekka. I don't know about you, but we talk about going to places like Mars, but I don't know why we don't take care of the Earth better. I mean, why in the world would we go to a desolate planet where you're going to have to do nuclear explosions on each of the polar ice cap to create a nuclear winter to be able to terraform a planet? And, it's crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know about you, but I've never seen anything in Mars that I would want to live on Mars. You know what I mean? It's like,
So
and
true.
nothing that's that interesting, from my
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah.
We have
Plus,
this one.
also, if you think about it as an innovation, think about it just for the first 100 people who are going to go there. If there's even one thing that goes wrong, that one person dies, okay, which is highly possible since you're having many risks there. I'm not sure how well the innovation goes after that. I mean, economically, if you found that okay, someone has died there, so I'm not sure if there are so many willing
It sounds
people.
like the movie with Matt Damon. you know, I hear you, but we have this wonderful planet, and we need to, just like you're doing in terms of planting trees. It's like keep it simple, stupid. If we need to have another trillion trees right out there, let's plant them because it's going to help cleanse or purify our environment. And it was interesting during COVID. It was the first time that we were able to see the Himalayas in India over 30 years because of the pollution was down. We need to go down through and help our planet get better, not destroy it. And I
So
mean, what
true.
you're doing with tree
You
buds
know
is just
what?
another stunning example that it works.
Yeah, you were mentioning Himalayas. Actually, we are planting trees in Himalayas. That was our first tree planting place in Tibet, in 5 kilometers altitude. Can you imagine?
Wow. How was that?
Yeah. Well, they have their place. The Tibetan plateau is huge. Okay, but there has been unfortunately a lot of tree cuttings in last 2 decades, which means that there's a huge amount of erosion out there. And we had been talking with the local guys. We know well their spiritual leader, and is fully, I mean, happy that we will be starting to do something completely, I mean, in sync with the local people's needs. This is always
Wow,
so important for us.
that's got to make you feel pretty good too.
Oh, it certainly does. It certainly does. You can't compare the feeling to anything else that I know.
So, you've gone down through it and you're passionate about this. What are you trying to do today? Are you raising money and what? So we have a wide audience around the world. What are you looking for today?
Yeah, now we are in the situation that we have had 4 financial rounds before, and now our 5th one is open at the moment. And what we are willing to have, like I mentioned, like-minded investors that are willing to starting this journey together with us. And I'm sure that, like all investors, so as before, they have always become typically our advisors, because they bring something extra from their experiences. They might have some great connections to companies, etc., who might be willing to have the three-body solution, etc. So this is the point at the moment, that we are open for any kind of people who are at the same time willing to have economical success with the innovation, which I think it's inevitable in this kind of case, where the need for more trees and CO2 solutions is just so grave in the world today. So that's one thing. But I hope that those guys that we will be interested in us would not be having just dollars in their minds, because it's more important things that we are now having in our hands.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, if we don't do it, nothing good's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Nothing good. So it's amazing. So how are things over the next year? My buddy always butt Kyles me. I hate when they do that. Anyhow, what's going to happen over the next year? What's going to happen over the next 2 years? Where do you see it going over the next year? And how are you going to get this message around the world, Pekka?
Yeah. We have been already getting a little bit the message over in several media. However, I think it was just a good starting point. What needs to be done is, first of all, we want to have more companies on board that will be having, adopting our solution.
What kind of companies are you looking for, Pekka? Exactly. What kind of companies? So if they're out there in the audience, they can call you.
Yeah.
Often,
software companies are perfect, because they are dealing with digital products, and our trees are all our URL codes, so they are easy to spread around to your clients or your employees. It's a great way to put sustainability really to an action thing within your company, and there are many ways to do it, and we can just matter of imagination what you can do. We can talk about that. So software companies is one thing. Any companies that are dealing with tree products in a way or another are typically natural fit, because if you're having a table that you're producing, it's nice to say to the one who is the client who is buying the tree, the table, that, hey, this is, by the way, your table here, and by the way, you will be having your tree here in this place, which happens to be, let's say, somewhere in tropics, for example. And then they kind of feel that at the same time they are consuming a tree, but at the same time they are planting a tree and seeing how it will be evolving.
No, that's great. And what's the best way to, closing thoughts, and what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
Yeah, simply email works nicely. So that's a very good way to do it. And
you're on LinkedIn too. You're on LinkedIn, Pekka, correct?
Yeah. Please, LinkedIn is maybe even better, whichever works.
So get a hold of Pekka. To all the audience out there, he's trying to make the world a better place, and he's doing a great job with it. He's got a company that's taken off. He's raised funding. He's moving out. He's making a dent in the universe, as our friend Steve Jobs said. So it's a great honor to have you here today, Pekka. I mean, I like it when people are trying to make our world a better place, and you're doing a great job with that. So thanks for taking your time out of your schedule. We're coming to the top of the show now. Any closing thoughts? Any additional closing thoughts?
Well, we always think our startup from so-called deathbed attitude. I mean, human life is short. We always have to think from time to time what is there when we are in our last moments, and then we don't think about the pockets. Then we think more about have we been good to our dearest ones, and also to society, maybe to whole the planet. So these kind of things are really utterly important, and more we can have thoughts on that direction, the better. And I'm happy that startup whole the ideology today is more and more fitting to this purpose so well.
Well, we all need to be happy, Peck, and planting the trees will make people happy, right? Will make our environment better, make us better. So reach out to Pekka through LinkedIn or through his contacts. Great having you here, Pekka. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule doing my show today. To all my audience out there, my name is Gary Fowler, and I'm the host of GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. And remember, GSD stands for Get Shit Done, because we need to move forward. It's not about the talk, it's about the action. So thanks again. We'll be on again next Tuesday for another exciting edition of GSD Presents. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. And I'm your host. Take care of yourself. Thanks, Pekka. We really appreciate it. It's an honor having you here today. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks. Ciao.